aren't always as they seem.
Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wonder what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from what I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from what I had today.
Good morning. Good morning, Robertson County. What you doing? How you doing? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern. And yes, this is one street over. Let's do this thing again. Tuesday morning. And you know, now, normally right after the school board meeting, we would have somebody from school board in. But we're kind of in that murky kind of, we've got a new director of schools, and so whenever he kind of gets, I don't know when that is official, but they moved the school board meeting, if you are not aware, from next week is fall break. So they moved the school board meeting to last night because of fall break, so they had it at a different time, and so we already had some things scheduled. So we will check in with the school board. I know they had a meeting last night. One of my students, Stacy, was honored last night, and so many others. I know Coach White was there too. He had a bunch of folks he was honoring. This is all Greenbrier stuff, inside Greenbrier, but nonetheless, don't worry, we will check in with school board and get you a complete update on those activities and all that happened. But since they're kind of out of sync with what they normally are, we wanted to go ahead with our guest. Rory Hall is in the house. Hi, Rory. How are you doing?
Hi, U-Turn LaVern.
Get right up on that microphone.
Well, all right. Rory. I can do that.
And it's so interesting because I have known of your work more than you, just in the last, we know we've had to have met because, yes, you know, we run in the same circles. And the circles being, he's with the Hope Center, Recovery Center, and I work with Celebrate Recovery, and your Hope Center guys come to RCR on Tuesday night at Epiphany Baptist.
Yes.
So I work with, I'm part of the Madison Church of Christ. I've been there since 1989, and I'm still on staff there, very, very part-time. I was full-time for a while, but during COVID, I'm just kind of give you just real quick my connection to Celebrate Recovery. During COVID, we were challenged to work from home, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do. Matt Driscoll and I had become friends, and he says, you need to check out Celebrate Recovery and bring it to your congregation. So that's what we did. And so that's how my affiliation with Epiphany, I say my family's Madison Church of Christ, but my crazy cousins are Epiphany Baptist. So, you know, so I'm affiliated with both of them, but we see your guys. I love your guys. Just love them to pieces. They're just, you know, they're just got such good hearts, and they're so kind, and they're just working so hard, their recovery. It's just amazing. I'm just so blessed to be able to just kind of, you know, just to get to know them. They bless me so much. I just love them. Just love them. I hope they know that.
Yes, they do.
They inspire me every time I see them.
I feel exactly the same way. And they will be there tonight. It's on Tuesday night.
Yes, it's Tuesday night.
And it's Hope Center Ministries has been one of the greatest blessings to my life that has ever been, and it's afforded me to meet people such as yourself, and also to really stay in the Word all the time with these men, and to see lives changed in the way that only Jesus can do. I mean, he brings, he just gets into these men. And it's amazing to watch them right in front of you, literally right in front of you, as close as you and I are right now, and see their lives change physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of it across the board. I mean, it's incredible. And you mentioned Matt Driscoll just a moment ago, and that's exactly how I found out about Hope Center Ministries.
Okay.
He and I had ran into each other and he invited me to come and sit in on the board at my father's house, which is the winter homeless situation.
And he'd had some time that he'd worked with Epiphany, right?
And so I started attending those board meetings. Next thing I know, he's telling me about the Celebrate Recovery, which I'd never heard of, and go to Celebrate Recovery, and I'm surrounded by all the men at Hope Center, and I was looking for something to get involved with, and that was in July of 21, and here I am 2 years and 2 months later, and now I'm on staff with them, and it's like I said, it's been truly a blessing and an experience that is hard to describe. Yeah, it really is.
It's so funny. It sounds like your journey has been like mine in regards to the recovery communities through Matt. God bless you, Matt. I just love him to pieces, and I just can't say enough about. There's so much. I was having a conversation with somebody last night about recovery and things like that, and when I see I did not know Matt prior to his recovery. Okay. So to know the things that he testifies to in his recovery and the miracle that it is, it's so beautiful to see, and to see him in a leadership role, not just at Epiphany, but he's also a counselor. He's teaching. Amazing guy. I just love you, buddy. And so we'll just have to let him know. Hope his ears are burning, because here's two people, just to show the example of what one life can do. Myself and Rory are doing what we're doing in the recovery community because of the example and the outreach of that Matt did. Yes. So don't ever say that you can't make a difference. And if you were to ask Matt, I mean, just Celebrate Recovery, guys. It is for everybody. Everybody has something they're recovering from. I have this conversation with my congregation all the time. They're like, "Well, I didn't know you were in recovery, LaVern." And I'm like, we're all in recovery. Right. I said, I don't have a drug or alcohol problem, but I said, I've got a lot of bitterness and resentment for things that I've had to deal with, and hurt and things like that, church hurt stuff. And I said that to somebody on Sunday. I was teaching, and the conversation started about Celebrate Recovery, and somebody kind of said that to me, and I said, well, I'm in recovery for bitterness and resentment of the church, and they kind of gasped. And I'm like, there's a lot of us.
Yes.
There's a lot of us. And that doesn't mean I don't love Jesus and don't love my church family, but there's some stuff we need to work on.
Yes.
We all have stuff we need to work on.
Well, here's the thing, is that whether it's depression, whether it's addiction, whether it's church hurt, whether it's chocolate or exercise or work or womanizing or gambling or whatever it is, it all comes down to one word, and that one word is sin. And that's what we're dealing with. Yeah. And you can put on the mask of your choosing. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole purpose of what we are trying to address, is we are addressing sin. It's just wearing a different mask that most people look at, and it's still there's still a stigma that goes with recovery and people that are dealing with addiction. It didn't change. Mm-hmm. It didn't change from 2,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago. It didn't change. It's still exactly the same. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it comes down to one word, and that word is sin, and we all deal with it. And for those, you are 100% correct, Ms. LaVern, in that we all have something. whether it's seen or unseen, I can assure you that every person that can hear my voice is dealing with something in some way. So it just depends on how you want to address it. And we do it in more of a public-private way, because everything that we do is in private. I mean, we keep the men anonymous in what they're sharing, and so that there is that trust. And this is one of the things that's just recently been revealed to me in doing what I'm doing, is that people that are in addiction, that come from broken homes in particular, which is a lot of us. Mm-hmm. A lot of us come from divorced homes, and there's still an enormous amount of people dropping out of school. And when you start looking at these numbers, then you start to see a different picture of who the people are, and you can actually see them. And it becomes just, your heart just hurts for the situation, and I can't help but to be with them. I can't. I mean, I get so filled up in being with these men. It brings my heart such joy, such pleasure. And if there's anybody out there that's looking to change, to make a difference in their own life, I can assure you that by giving to these men, it will impact you in ways that you don't even know exist. And that's a fact. I mean, you can start by going to Celebrate Recovery, see LaVern tonight, see all the men that are at the Hope Center, interact with them, and give me a call. I mean, I'll be happy to let you sit down with these guys, show you around the campus, because as Jesus Christ himself says in John 1, come and see.
I love it.
And when you come and see, then you get to experience where he lives, where he dwells, as it says. The disciples were saying, well, we come to see where you dwell. And he says, come and see. And when they did, they figured it out. It took them a minute, but they did get to experience what he has to offer to our lives. And it's amazing. So.
Beautiful. Well, and what Rory's talking about too, and we're talking about Celebrate Recovery because that's how I know of, well, and I honestly and truthfully know I knew of Hope Center really before Celebrate Recovery, because as they were bringing it in and proposing to do it with the Fluellen Church and all the stuff that they were doing, Patrick and them, what they were doing to help bring it here, that was my first exposure to it. And having worked, before I started teaching in school, after I kind of retired out of broadcasting, I went into, broadcasters never retire. You keep your toe in the water somewhere. You just can't help it. So, but whenever I went out of broadcasting full time, I started working at the Madison Church of Christ in the benevolence program. And through that program, I saw the recovery community, and just my heart just breaks. Because what you don't understand, guys, for those of us who don't react to the addictive properties of alcohol or whatever that's out there, that's they talk about different things that are the introductory drugs, and I'm one of those people. I can't take pain pills; they make me sick. Praise the Lord for that.
Yes. Because
I don't want to expose myself to that addiction. And our physiologies are so different. Some people they just get addicted, and it's just the fallen world that we live in, that some people have this and some don't. I've seen extraordinary people fall victim to addiction, and it's just, how in the world did it get a hold of you? Most famously, Rush Limbaugh. Do you remember Rush Limbaugh?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's somebody who I got to watch his career from the very get-go, had the opportunity to meet him a few times because of my radio background, but just to see that man admit to being addicted to painkillers was breathtaking, and his journey. So if it can happen to somebody like that, it can happen to anybody. You don't really know what your makeup is. Right. And so I can remember one time I was at, this is when I was still full-time at the church, and I was at GFS picking up stuff for Meals on Wheels. And I met this guy in the parking lot, and he just had, it almost looked like some kind of a company executive that was thin, and he just looked like somebody. I could just see him see the transformation of this is the addict, but you could just see the echo of who he was.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And it just broke my heart, and I've never seen him again. But I just, I've talked to him for a second, and and he just walked away. And it's heartbreaking. And this gets a hold of them. And I want you to talk. I'll shut up in a second. But yeah. Bobby Davis is a pastor up in Cookeville at Life Church. And I talk a lot about him because he's one of the pastors I follow. He was an addict. And he is just amazing. If you haven't discovered this guy, you need to, because your guys would love him. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't, but I will find out.
He's incredible. He was talking to his mother. He was trying to describe the addiction. And his mom said to him, Bobby, I wish I could help you. I don't know what to do. And he thought for a minute. He goes, and I finally realized how to describe it to her. He says, he's an old country boy. He says, back when we'd get poison ivy or poison oak, and he goes, and it was hot in the house. We didn't have air conditioning and all this kind of stuff. And he says, and y'all put that old pink mess on me, and I'd lay there, and y'all'd say, Bobby, don't scratch. It'll just make it worse. Bobby, don't scratch. It'll just make it worse. And he says, and I'd lay there in the heat and the sweat, and I'd just be like, I don't scratch, it'll make it worse. And then all of a sudden I would just dig into my arm and scratch for a minute. And for a second it felt better, but then it felt worse immediately. He goes, that's addiction. I was like, wow. And to me, that just, I don't know what it is, but to me, that is profound. And coming from an addict, a former addict, I think, wow, we can't understand it if we haven't experienced it, but we can sure love on them.
Yes.
And let me just kind of finish with this. That's why Celebrate Recovery is so important. Only about 20%, maybe even less than that, have alcohol and drug addiction. The rest of us just deal with life stuff. And by coming to them, the passage says, confess your sins to each other so that you can pray for each other and be healed. Well, right before that, it says, make this your common practice. Confess your sins to each other so that you can pray for each other and be healed. And it's that testimony of life's going, I don't have addiction, but I got other stuff. I don't have addiction, but man, I really struggle with food. I spend too much money. Oh my goodness, pornography. You talk about a poison that's poisons our society. All those things we deal with at Celebrate Recovery. And then by doing that and showing the folks that are dealing with alcohol and drug issues that it's okay. I got my stuff too. I'm here for you. I love you, brother. I love you, sister.
Yep.
That's what this is all about. But anyway, go.
Well,
shut up.
No, it's good. It's good stuff because you mentioned pornography, and a few years ago, back in 1998, I started doing YouTube videos on the economy, and started looking at it, and that grew into two different news websites. One of which followed the corruption in D.C. and the banker crimes and all that, and the other one was a testimony. It was for Christ. Mm-hmm. So the one that the Gospel News Network is still active today. And in that, I started looking at statistics on the internet and how many hours on YouTube and these different statistics. And what I found is that there was 25 million hours a week in the United States alone for pornography.
What? Say that number again.
25 million hours a week just in the United States. But if you talk to people, they'll say, no, I don't watch any pornography. It's like, okay, well, somebody watching it.
Somebody's doing it. Somebody's doing it.
I mean, wow. It's one of the number one imports or exports that the United States has.
Secret sin.
It is. It really is. And it's being normalized now, and we can see that in the schools and everywhere that we look. And that is, it is so unbelievably destructive that it's hard to even describe, because one of the things that has been found out is that it actually starts to rewire, kind of like heroin. If you do heroin for a long time or opiates, it starts messing with your nervous system, and it really kind of changes a little bit of your physiology. And pornography does the same thing in your brain, and it starts kind of rewiring, readjusting things, and it takes a minute for that stuff to heal. It does. And just so everybody knows, I'm 19 years clean, and I was in addiction for over 30 years. Drugs, alcohol, whatever you put in front of me, I would take. I never shot anything, but I've snorted it, smoked it, drank it, whatever it was, whatever you put in front of me.
And how many years now?
19.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
amazing. That's amazing.
Well, it's a good start.
It's a life start, but God bless you. What a journey. And I know that's the testimony you share with your guys, and it encourages them that you can get on the other side of this.
You can, and the thing is that I really wish that Hope Center Ministries had been in place when I came out, because what happened is that my sponsor in AA, he was really struggling, and the last day that I called him, he said, you can either be here at my house by X time or lose my number and forget where I live, because I'm done with you, because I couldn't stop. I could not stop for months and months and months. I couldn't stop. And I was lying to him, and I would go back into my addiction. I go to a meeting, go to the bar.
Sure, I'm fine.
Everything's good. And
Great. We're doing great.
And he just, but that day, it was December the 8th of 2003 that I finally came to for the last time.
Bless your heart.
It's, he introduced me to Jesus Christ, but in a very different way than what we do at Hope Center Ministries. And I'm convinced beyond that that's the only way that we can really get out of any of this mess that we're dealing with. Because once again, you can put on whatever mask that you want, call it whatever you like. It's still sin. And there's only one that can deal with that. That's it. And that's the problem, is that, and what I tell people is that we don't do rehab. I'm not interested in rehab. I'm interested in life change. I'm interested in you changing your life and not being who you were. I'm interested in you being the new creature, the new person in God that he describes to us, that he tells us that we should be, that we need to be, that's the only way that we can change our lives, is if we change our lives.
Yeah.
That rehab, and the way that I describe it to the guys is that I ask them what their favorite car is, and inevitably it's some muscle car from the mid, late 60s, early 70s. And it's like, okay, so Mustang GT. So you got a Mustang GT. It's a 68. So, okay, if you rehab, you rebuild it, you polish it up, and you shine it up, and it's beautiful. It's a 68 GT with all the 68 parts and equipment. What I want is I want you to be that 68 GT with a 2023 engine, with a 2023 technology, with a 2023 suspension. Still the same beautiful you, just updated.
I love it.
Just changed. Completely different. And this is a picture that that's easily grasped, that anyone can understand, and it makes it simple for us to have a realistic conversation, because the conversations that we have are one-on-one. It's about who you are. I mean, one of the questions that I ask when I first meet these guys when they come in is, what kind of music do you like? Who doesn't like music? Raise your hand if you don't like music. So
exactly.
So it's an easy conversation, and inevitably, I would say probably 98, 99% of them say, well, I like a little bit of everything. It's like, okay, well, let's strip that down. What were you listening to before you came in? So now I got them. It's like, yeah, I either like that or I don't like that, and this is why, and this is what I used to listen to. And so now all of a sudden everything's relaxed. It's very personal, and it's a conversation about them. It's a conversation about who they are. Mm-hmm. It's a conversation about what I like and what they like, and how we can come together on a level playing field. There's no pressure. We're just talking about music and marriage. Are you married? Do you have children? What's your kids' names? What's your wife's name? What's your girlfriend's name? All these things that are just deeply personal to them. And now all of a sudden, and it's no different than when Jesus went to the woman at the well and he was asking her about her husband that she didn't have. It's no different.
Right.
It's exactly the same conversation.
I want to get you to pause for a second because I'm not sure. I'm seeing people walk around out in the studio, and sometimes I get my calendar. There may be that I have a 7:30 guest. I'm not sure. I think I do. Come on in. Who is this guy coming in here? Are you on at 7:30? That's right. I forgot all about that. Do you mind just sitting down with me right now? I'm going to talk to both of you for a second. And I remember I had one of the folks that helps me produce, Lee Marie. He and I had been talking via text, and because I'm a school teacher and sometimes I text whenever I'm in the middle of things, I forget to write things down. So, what is your name?
Ethan Pelton.
And this is Rory Hall. Meet each other. He is with Hope Center Ministries, and you're with 504 Climb in the downtown square.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and I have not met you before. So I just we're going to have to make a transition, and I want to plug exactly what we need to do with the Hope Center, and then we'll transition to you if that's okay. Absolutely. And we'll get you back in here for another half hour later on. Okay. And I do apologize for the conflict in schedule, but I saw you walking around out there, and I thought, I bet I did it. So, but before we finish, I'm going to have to do a break here in just a second, but I want you to tell them how they can get involved with Hope Center, because you're always looking. We just had the gala. How much did you raise?
$46,000. It was the largest gala fundraiser that we've had.
Tell me, how much do you need per year, though?
For our total operation, our total operational cost is $432,000 a year.
Well, and you and I have talked about one of the things that I don't hear y'all talk a ton about when I come to the galas. People can come in and they can be sponsors per month. Yes. What does it take per guy per month?
It's $1,200 a month per individual. And it's you can sponsor just one person. There's a $700 admission. It's a one-time admission. And that's an easy way for people to do that. It's $58 a month.
Right.
And you can do that on recurring. You can make a one-time gift. You can make a recurring gift. We also need volunteers. We love volunteers. And if you want to give me a call, my name is Rory, R-O-R-Y, Hall, H-A-L-L. And my number is 615-414-4134. Be happy to talk to you, show you around the campus. Like I said just a moment ago, come and see. And when you come and see, I can assure you your life will be impacted. Even if you don't volunteer, you will be impacted. So give me a call. Love to talk to you. Love to show you around, introduce you to some of the men. So thank you so much, LaVern.
And I apologize for having to cut this off, because as soon as I saw him, I was like, I didn't write it down. So, but my apologies. And we'll get you back in here.
It's all
for
good.
An extended visit, and I'll let y'all visit for a minute, and I'm going to do a break if I can get my allergies to calm down. This is that season, boy. Whew, it's getting me good. But as give your contact information one more time while I get my throat together.
All right. It's Rory Hall with Hope Center Ministries, and we are right here in Springfield. If you give me a call at 615-414-4134, I'll be happy to speak to you. You can also send me an email at r.hall@hopecm.com. Thank you so much, LaVern, for having me. I appreciate it.
And we'll get you back in here. Maybe I'll see you up at Epiphany.
Sounds
I'll
good.
be there tonight.
All right.
So thank you guys. Thank you, Roy, so much. And while I'm doing the break, I'm going to get you guys to change seats, and I will talk to you later. Thank you, Roy, so much for being so gracious. And forgive me for, having a conflict on the schedule. But I want to remind you that allergy season's hot right now. Go and check out Veterans Motorplex. I'm having so much fun with Veterans Motorplex right now because I've got some kiddos that are working for Veterans Motorplex in my classroom. And what's so fun, he has given so many young kids their first job. I love what Jerry is doing up at the old Highland Rim Speedway. And if you want to go and have a great time, you've got a few weeks left to go and be a part of the racing happening up on the ridge, Veterans Motorplex. They'll have racing this weekend, and it is an opportunity for you to come out, see the cars go around that little track. It is so much fun. It is exciting. Bye, Rory. Thank you so much. And they've got a great ticket price, $40. We'll get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for one set price, and you will have an absolute blast if you come out and join them at the Speedway. Now, keep in mind, if you want to go to the Speedway, if you want to be a part of what they're doing, you've only got a few weeks left. The season will end. On at the end of October. Now, next weekend on October 14th, they're going to have a benefit to benefit the St. Louis Children's Hospital. So we want to invite you to that as well. They're going to plan on having the trunk or treat from race cars that they'll have around Halloween. So, I mean, great stuff happening. Veterans Motorplex, we want you to be a part of it. If you want to know what's going on, very easy to find out. 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. Or you can give Jerry a call, 615-643-8725, 615-643-8725. And when you go through the concession stand, ask any of the kids if they're Miss Vivio's kids, because there's a few of them in there now, and they're having a big time. Thank you, Jerry, for giving some of these kids their first job. You're just such a great guy. Go out and encourage them and be a part of what they have going on. Always tell them that U-Turn sent you. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that our first meeting is so abrupt because I love what you're doing down at 504 Climb. This in Ethan, what's your last name again, sir? Pelton. Nice to meet you. I'm LaVern Vivio. I'm the local big mouth, I guess. You could call me that. How long have you been in Springfield?
So I'm in Greenbrier. I live in Greenbrier. I moved up in 2010. So I'm a newbie. I just got here.
Where are you from?
Well, I moved around a lot. My dad was a Nazarene pastor.
Okay, cool.
So I was born in Kankakee, Illinois, but moved all over the east.
Preacher's kid. Got it.
Yeah, I tell people I've never been to the same school more than 2 years, and they ask, military or preacher's kid, and it's preacher's kid.
That's great.
But I came up to Trevecca in 95. More or less been here.
Well, that is wonderful, and I'm intrigued with climbing. I've got really bad joints right now, so I've got to get some new knees. I've got my new hips. I want to come and climb so bad. It is so much fun because I've done it a few times, and when I heard that you were putting this in on our square, I was so excited because as we've tried to figure out what to do with our downtown square, to me that's it. Those unique, just the unique places that just, I don't know how to even describe it. It's almost like a niche, Yeah. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Well, I think when you think about things to do with commerce, businesses, you've got your strip malls and things go outside of town, but when you think about a square and how it can be utilized, I think those unique, I don't want to say even mom and pop, just unique creative opportunities and resources should go downtown on a square. I mean, the square itself is irreplaceable. You've got, for instance, we're in a 120-year-old building, irreplaceable, has its own unique character. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to have those kind of cool creative type businesses in a downtown square.
How did you get access to it? Pull that microphone a little bit closer to you if you don't mind.
So I was looking I wasn't dead set on what we were going to do. It kind of came up as just, wouldn't it be cool if we did a climbing gym? And I just started poking around on the internet. I really had absolutely no intention of even looking at Springfield, but as everybody knows, prices in Nashville are very high. And so as I was poking around, I wasn't really finding anything. Then I looked just totally just out of boredom, and gee, I wonder what kind of stuff is in Springfield. Not even necessarily for the gym. And saw that, this cool building listed in downtown Springfield, and being what it was, I couldn't imagine that it would be good for a climbing gym. It wouldn't have, you wouldn't think of those old buildings downtown as having high ceilings and being appropriate. Usually they're in big warehouses, for instance. So anyways, I clicked on it, and the first shot that I saw was this expansive, tall, open room in the front, and I was like, oh my gosh, and looked at the lease numbers and just instantly knew it was a go. So
I'm just intrigued because my husband and I, we ran a roofing company for 20 years, and so I'm always interested in entrepreneurs and the journey to get to where you are. So what's that background? I mean, why? I mean, how did you get to that? Were you already affiliated with some?
No, not
or
at
is this
all.
just like, I want a place, I want to do something? What's that process?
Yeah, so I would say I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I think a lot of people do. I don't think I'm unique in that way, but
Right, I agree. Yeah.
I'm 40. When I started the idea, I was 45, and I've gone through a million ideas and projects that were have started or just didn't make it or whatever. But generally speaking, I'm just an average working guy. I still have a regular job. I'll be going there after this. And I was a programmer as my primary career. Worked for the Convention and Visitors Bureau downtown, and now I work for an architectural firm, Gresham Smith in Nashville. So it was kind of like, what's the next project? What's a cool thing we can do? My kids, I started climbing probably about 4 years ago. A buddy of mine got me into it, and we went up to Kings Bluff, which is an outdoor cliff rock face on the Cumberland River in Clarksville. That's where I started climbing. That's where a lot of local people start climbing because that's what we've got in this area. So I started doing that, got my kids into it. One of my kids started on team at Climb Nashville. And we're sitting around after one of our 2 or 3 drives per week to Nashville, which gets old after a while, thinking, man, sure would be nice if there was something on the north side. As far as from there, just this simple little idea, if you haven't created a business in your life before, and I had this thought process as well of, how do people do it? Is it easy? Is it I see that Mary did it and Steve did it. They can do it. Sure, I can do it. So you have this sense of it's doable. I'm here to say it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Bless your heart. I see. I've been in business long. It is difficult. It is not an easy process. That's why I was wondering. So the codes and all of the things.
Yeah. Well,
and
I tried to kind of take note as I went through it, like what could I share with others on, and I think it's a unique experience depending on what you're doing. And, so the challenges that we had were, like I said, that building being a 100-year-old building, and we've got to attach these massive steel beams and do all the engineering and safety stuff. And one of the hardest things that I never would have guessed was getting a structural engineer who's willing to work with us and be responsive.
That's one of the first things that came to mind, because having come out of roofing, because we did commercial roofing. And so as soon as you started talking about using the old building for that, my mind was whirling, because I figured that had to have been a process, because I knew what you had to have gone through. How long did it take you to get through that process?
It didn't need to take as long as it did.
Sure, of course, always.
But, it took about a year.
Okay.
About a year.
Okay.
Let me think. I guess it would have been until we actually, from the signing of the lease to the opening, was just under a year and a half.
Okay.
A lot of that was waiting for engineers to, you send something off.
On off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
once we really had everything lined up and were able to be in there with, and I'll do a plug for Doug Armentrout. He's a local builder, and Seth Ramsey. They call their business Choice Builders, and they're at the Ridgetop Seventh-day Adventist Church. A group of guys down there. Just once we had everything lined up, and I did a lot of work with them and on my own there, but they just really knocked it out. And that part took about 4 to 5 months.
Okay.
And that's for a lot of the kind of building walls and putting in sinks and working with electric and lights and things like that. And we have 2 sections. There's a bouldering section, which if you're not familiar with climbing, bouldering is you climb out without a harness, and then you just jump off or fall down, or you can climb down. And that's where you have the thick mats that you can land on. And then the front of the building is what people are more familiar with, where there's 27-foot walls that have ropes on them, and you attach yourself to a harness and climb up.
That is the coolest thing. I'm sitting here looking at I pulled some pictures up. I've got to get in there and see this, because people don't know about me. I love to climb. I'm a country girl, and I was a climber. I climbed everything. And because if it weren't, I'm needing a knee right now, or I'd already be in there. But I think I will be able to get past all my joint replacement and get back to climbing. And it's so good for you. I've done a little bit of it years ago in Nashville. I just was thrilled to see something like this come in. And I've had some friends that have been frequent, visitors out there. And I just, so as far as your hours and stuff, so listening to all this, and if somebody's intrigued and they're like, I want to see the build out that you did, just listening to you. But I also want to just experience, if you've never been to a climbing gym, you don't know what you're missing, because it's just so exciting and so much fun. We all get bored with our workouts. This is not boring ever. And I love that you have the jump off. I have not seen that. Now that's super cool. Sure. Yep. But so why 504 Climb?
Well,
what's the name? What's in the name? Talk to me about that.
Well, that's not real exciting. We went through a bunch of different names, and ultimately went with the kind of pragmatic choice. That's the address, is 504 South Main.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But that just didn't even occur to me. You'd think that'd be obvious. I'm looking at your website right now. So you actually, this is a business you are with your son. Or is it? How old is he?
I have 3 kids. So the oldest is 26, and he became an avid climber later in the process. He wasn't involved at the very beginning, but and then the middle one is 15, and he's the one that was on team.
Okay. Well,
and they helped to some extent. They kind of got bored with it, and I was left on my own. But
that's
to be expected, right?
That's just it in their 20s. So, but it's like you get a well, and it's as I'm sitting here reading it, it's talking about your kids specifically, that they fell in love with this, and that's something you've talked about since you sat down. But the enthusiasm, it's just one of those things that you didn't know you loved until you start doing it, and you're like, oh, this is super cool. And so how are things going as far? Let me do a break. It's already a 1:45. Good land. Time gets away from me super fast, but I like to talk. Can you tell? I like to hear about people.
You're in the right field.
Well, I tell people when I want them to come in here, most people will do a 10-minute interview. I'm like, no, I want to sit across sit on the porch and talk to them and get to know them.
Sure.
And that's why, because I think people, when they know you, they want to come and meet you.
Sure.
And that just opens the door to knowing a little bit more about the things that are in our neighborhood. It just makes all the difference in the world. And so with that, I will do what we call a segue into Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. That's a place that you want to get to know the people. The Corbins are just, they are longtime residents of Robertson County. Everybody knows I swear by the CBD products that help me with my arthritis. I've got a lot of arthritis, and it's just what I was born with. But because of CBD, it helps me tremendously. I don't take any pharmaceuticals. My doctor, Dr. Jeffrey Hardrick up in Nashville, the one who did my hip replacement, Southern Joint, recommended I try CBD products, and I was like, "What? Really?" I thought that was snake oil, but it was something that really has helped me, and I cannot say enough about it. I also can't say enough about the Corbins when it comes to advising me on everything I need to know for my garden and for my houseplants and all the things I need to make my home more beautiful. They are super helpful, always there to answer my silly questions that they've probably answered again and again. But I love going and visiting with them and just seeing all the beautiful things. Right now it's mum season. They've got mums, and also pansies are beautiful and will hold very, very well in the cool weather for a little bit longer than what you would expect. So those are the things that you want to put in the ground and let them grow and be beautiful. Perennials, great time to get some perennials in the ground. Everything that you need. Remember that they're on their cooler weather hours right now. You're going to find them open 10 to 4 Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday they're open from 1 to 4. If you want to connect with them, call them at 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185, or go to 4920 Highway 161 in Springfield. And when you get there, please always tell them you turned Cynthia and thank them for sponsoring. I was talking about some of my friends. I know Hannah Sadler's been out there a bunch. Do you know Hannah? I mean, I'm sure, because I know I've seen lots of pictures with her climbing the walls.
Yeah, she's actually been a real asset for us. She jumped in early on, came in, introduced herself, started climbing, and it's kind of been no turning back for her.
Yeah.
She's one of our most avid climbers and kind of heroes of the gym. She's helped put on a lot of our she does our social media now. And
we're talking about Hannah Sadler. I didn't get your mic up quick enough to get that. We're talking about Hannah. When I was saying about one of my friends, that's who first came to mind. Go ahead. And she's doing your social media. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she of course did the bakery there in town. And so she's been helping out with social, just all volunteer work. Just because she loves climbing and loves what we're doing with the gym. So been hugely helpful. Big thank you to Hannah. But she's also helped us put together some events if there's a good time to go over some of those events.
Go right ahead.
So we've got an events calendar on the Facebook page and on the website. So if you are looking for something to do, we do things like kids classes, couples nights. I'll mention real quick, we are closed 9th through 13th for fall break, but open the weekend before and after. We find this event. So, we just finished ladies' night Saturday. Hannah set that up.
Yeah, I see some pictures.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed in, but
you weren't allowed to go to ladies' night. I was going to show you. I've got some of the pictures right here up on my social media there. Yeah. So anyway,
sweet, awesome.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks beautiful.
So I think the next one is actually tomorrow. We have Downtown Employees Night from 6 to 8.
Oh, cool.
And then kids climbing classes are every Sunday from 2 to 3. We just had our first graduating class Sunday, which was awesome.
The kids that came in and took the classes?
Yeah, if they come in, if they come into a class four times within 3 months, they get a certificate.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Got that. And then, so I want to say it again, the downtown employees thing we're real excited about. And that's tomorrow, 6 to 8. So if you're a downtown employee, be sure to come down. We've got homeschool recess. We're doing a lot with homeschool groups. Mm-hmm. And that's just, I didn't even know about that. The enthusiasm that we would get from that community. But there's a lot of homeschoolers, and it's a good opportunity to come out and see friends and hang
mm-hmm.
out at the gym. The next one is October 5th, and that is from 1 to 3. So that's Thursday, October 5th, homeschool recess.
This Thursday.
Yep. And then we got a couples night on October 20th. So, and that's 6 to 8. So couples night, bring your significant other. Hours are 10 to 8 every day except Sunday. Sunday is 11 to 6, and then we're closed on Mondays right now. So again, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 8.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people ask, do they need a reservation? Do they need, gear. What do they need? You don't need anything. You can just show up when you want. Most of our staff are actually one thing that people run up against with climbing is it's intimidating if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
And a lot of our staff before they worked here had not had any significant climbing experience. We're all very welcoming. We're all kind of beginners and just excited to see new people. We go through a painless orientation process. When you come in, you sign a waiver, and we have shoes, we have harnesses, we have everything you need. And we'll go through this kind of introduction to the gym and how to climb. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes. So it's an easy step in for those that might be a little intimidated. And we know that it can be scary to if you have a fear of heights. So we've worked through that with bunches and bunches of people, and it's always a lot of fun.
Well, see, and I've had that with some people out because I've got, trees. I'm like, climb the tree and to encourage them. And I'm like, I'm scared. Look, like my grandkids and stuff. And I want to encourage it because it's just, I don't know, it's just so empowering to me,
Yeah.
And so I can remember the first time I went to a climbing gym, and again, it's been many years ago, but just the thrill of getting up and ringing the bell. Do y'all have bells at the top? Some do, some don't. We
don't. We're and we have timed routes as well.
Okay.
So where kids will time them. And I keep saying kids. We
Oh no, this is grown up stuff. Big. I love it.
Yeah. We're looking at options for a bell or some kind of buzzer thing that you can hit at
light,
the top.
something to flash out. Yeah. But no, go ahead.
Talking about kids, a lot of people also ask about age. We don't have a minimum age, but our harnesses limit us a little bit, and we find it's around 5 years old is when they're big enough, and it depends on the kid, but it's the size of the harness, and we just don't want it to slip.
My 7-year-old grandson would be all over this.
Bring him in.
He'd be all over it. Yeah, he'd love it. He would absolutely love it, and he climbs my trees and things like that. So I mean, this is perfect for him. Couple of questions I had as you're talking. I think about the questions, and I'm very ADD, as you can imagine, being that I had two guests on at the same time, but. As far as the schedule, okay, I'm looking at it. So it's 10 to 8 every day, pretty much 10 to 8, Tuesday through Saturday. Is that correct? And then Sunday you're open from 11 to 6, but you're closed on Mondays. Everybody got to take a day off, y'all. So those are the hours, and the only adjustment to that would be those special events. Like tomorrow night, you will be open only to the Square employees, or are you just inviting them to participate?
Just inviting them to participate.
Okay, good, because I know you had ladies' night that was very.
That was closed, yeah.
So that's not so normally. You might have a group that'll come in, but it'll still be open.
Right.
Right? Okay, so you won't have that. So tell me this. If I come in and I just want to go one time, is there a time limit? How does that work?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Our day passes are our day passes.
Okay.
So once you come in, and you can go and come back, or you can leave and come back.
Okay.
If you need to. So that you just come in, sign in, and you're good for the day.
Okay.
Of course, we do memberships as well.
So that's what I wanted to talk to. So memberships, is it as you go? Do you have to sign a contract? How does that go?
There's no contract.
Okay.
No contract. It's month to month.
Okay. Wonderful.
Give us a heads up.
Yep.
Preferably like 30 days would be good. And that gets you the whole month. Climb as much as you want. It's if you come in, I believe it's 3 times a month, then it's better to have a membership. We try to put the price down pretty reasonable. And if you have a membership, you also get 2 guest passes per month. So
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, if you've got you're really into it, you've got a friend that just wants to come a couple times, or maybe a second child that isn't quite as into it as the first child, then that gives them an opportunity to get in there a couple times a month as well.
I love that, because that's the thing. Think about that. If you've got one kid that's just all about it, and the other one just wants to go with their sibling every now and then, but you get those 2 passes every month. That's very good.
Yeah.
That's a great deal.
Then we've got all kinds of family rates and other discounts.
Okay.
First responder, student.
Got any teacher discounts?
Do we
I'm a
have
school
teacher
teacher.
discount? I don't
I'm
think
a
we have
school
that
teacher.
right now.
What about senior
I
discounts?
need to look at that.
You got senior?
I'm very happy to do a senior discount. I don't think that's listed on the website, but we'll add that.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you because I'm 60 and I'm a teacher. So I qualify
That sounds
for all kinds of
sounds
things.
like you certainly should get a discount.
There you go. I'm thinking too. All right. And I'm talking with Ethan. You're going to say the last name, though, because I didn't write.
Pelton.
Pelton. Pelton.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's not as hard as I was thinking. Yeah. Whenever you said it when you came in, I'm so embarrassed when things like that happen. I'm a busy lady, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep too many balls in the air, I guess. Yep. But anyway, thank you for being so gracious. Ethan Pelton's here with 504 Climb, and if you've not seen it, it's so exciting. We've got. Let me do my last break, and we'll come back and kind of wrap it up and go through things. And are you going to be involved with anything special during the holidays? Because I know usually they do. We'll have to talk. Ace Timbermeyer.
Yep,
okay, of course. Everybody knows Ace. But I'm assuming we're going to be doing some special downtown stuff associated with Christmas. We got the Christmas parade on December 2nd. Sometimes stores will be open. Have y'all thought about doing anything around Christmas? Maybe even an open house and say, hey, come in and look. Have you thought about doing that? Think about that for just a minute. Let me do my break. And we'll come back. We're talking with Ethan Pelton, and he is with 504 Climb. Cool new business in the downtown square. So excited about it. We wanted to invite you to come out and be a part of that. So excited that I got an opportunity just to meet him and talk with him this morning. But I want to remind you of our next sponsor, and that is Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. You know them well. I talk about them all the time because they're dear friends of mine. They're so involved in the community. We talk all the time about how that they came out of other careers. Barry being the marketer, bringing his marketing background to the table. Expert in marketing to help you out when it comes to selling property. When you've got a marketer that can help you, why would you not want that? But they're a great team, but they're also in opposition to each other. They're brokers in different places. She's the broker up in White House. He's the broker here in Springfield. Speaking of downtown square, they have the Exit Realty Garden Gate team now has an office on the downtown square, and he wants to invite you out to come out and see him. Now, Rebecca, again, she's the broker in White House. You can call her at 615-504-7425. 615-504-7425, and wherever you're looking for property. I keep an eye on the Greenbrier properties because it's awesome whenever you can come and move to Greenbrier, and I can teach you kids. If you have interest in Robertson County, they're in Cross Plains. They've been there 27 plus years. So they specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. A good way to find them too is just Google Barry or Rebecca Richards at Exit Realty Garden Gate team. They both have websites, individual websites that pop up. They specialize in historic properties as well. All kinds of good stuff from this wonderful couple, wonderful friends of mine and of One Street Over. Get in touch with Barry and Rebecca Richards today, and when you do, please let them know U-Turn sent you. Finishing up my conversation with Ethan Pelton. Thank you, Rory Hall, for being so gracious to understand the change in the schedule today. That was from Hope Center, and we'll continue, of course, talking about that. But I want to encourage you to check it out and help them out. But we want to encourage you to get out and support this new business on the square, 504 Climb. So my question about the holidays, have you thought about that, doing something maybe?
We have, I believe we're scheduling something for Halloween. We haven't, cool. We don't have anything right now for the Christmas time. But I'll be talking to Hannah about that and trying to plan something. I'll be involved with I do the jogging thing over at BS Brew Works.
Oh, okay.
They have that jogging group. If you see them running around town, I'm usually with them, and they do a float for Christmas. So I'll be doing the Christmas parade with them.
Okay.
This year.
And it's a light up Christmas parade. It's an electric, so it's going to be at night, and we've done that for the last few years, and it's wonderful. When you see all the lights on the vehicles and stuff, it's just fabulous. I love it so much. So very cool. Well, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing all that you've got going on, and I'll be popping in there with my grandson just as soon as possible. He's in Mount Juliet, so it's hard to get. I have to reserve time with. I've got almost 4 grandchildren. My third grandson is in 4th grandchild is due, but they're all scattered. So when they're in town, that's a place I really want him to be because I think he would love it. I know he will. Anything we're missing that you want to share before we say goodbye?
I don't think so. Just don't be intimidated to come in. I'll tell you, your kid or you may be a little nervous about it, but you mentioned empowerment when you overcome those demons and you get up on that wall, or you see your kid light up and just free up when they lose that nervousness. It's a very cool feeling. It's very exciting, very enjoyable, and we in the gym love seeing it. So
I know.
Please come in, check it out.
I love it. So nice to meet you, Ethan.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here, and thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Rory, for being here, and we'll get him back on to finish our conversation about Hope House. We'll be checking in with them quite often just because of the affiliation I have to Celebrate Recovery and all the things in Celebrate Recovery tonight at Epiphany Baptist. Hope you can join us. We have a meal at 5:45. The big group starts at 6:30. Come out and just, get to know everybody and make yourself better. God bless you. This is 1100 WSGI. Have a great day.